We do have Bowen here, don't we?
Right here. Why not just see?
I got it, Danny. It's going.
All good?
All right. Now, Danny, you just unmute and we're good to go.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming on the call. Welcome to our inaugural Global Expansion Team call. We're trying to get as many leaders in ASEA on this call as possible, not only just to come on and share their wisdom with us and their knowledge, but also to join in to help us consolidate so as many people as possible in the ASEA membership can have access to some great information and know when all the webinars and events and meetings are on, not just in the US, but around the world. So this is our first one. We've really happy that we're collaborating with Bo and Cindy Buck on this. I've got Kayleen and Milton and Mauricio who have been on these training calls on Monday night that we've been coordinating, but we are joining forces and really, really happy to do that. So without further ado, because we're going to keep these to 30 minutes, I'm going to pass over to Bo if he's on. He's going to say a few words and Cindy, and we've got some great stuff for our first call, guys. So welcome.
Hey, Danny, Bo's driving home. We're doing car stuff today, motorcycle stuff, car stuff, and so he's on the road. So you take over, you take off. He'll come on next time.
Well, you've got your you coordinated what you did last week. So if you want to go through any of your recognition stuff or any emerging leaders, if you want you go for it.
Yeah, what we wanted to do is that we feel like there's enough presentation calls, and in 10 minutes, this will become a training call. And the amazing Leland Duyck and Kayleen O'Connell will conduct a 3-way training. They're going to do role playing and what have you. But before we do that, we wanted to take 10 minutes and just open up the lines for wins for the week. So we want to hear what you're doing to build your business, because this call is really focused for people who want to go build their business to bronze and above. The charge up call every day is kind of focused towards bronze and below. This call is really focused on people that want to build their business to bronze and above. So if that defines you, then you're on the right call. So if you're doing something to build your business to bronze and above, we'd love to hear from you. Just unmute yourself in the lower left-hand corner of your screen and share what you're doing to help build your business.
So come on, guys, don't be shy like me. If you've had a productive week, I always say to the team, look back on your week and see how much time and effort you put into your ASEA business, and then work out what you would have paid yourself for doing that work. So hopefully we're going to hear from some of you that did have a productive week, and you can share some of your wins.
Well, this is Blake Hunton. I feel like my week was pretty productive. I've been setting a lot of appointments for me and Dan. We've been working closely together and basically just making calls, calling leads and hitting the numbers and just going through. And I don't know, I feel like it's been productive pretty much every day that I've been working, Monday through Saturday. Yeah, I feel like it's been productive, and I just hit the numbers and go from the next person to the next.
Thanks, Blake. You're a great example. Blake's been organising several 3-way calls with me every day, and he's just picking up the phone and organising call after call after call. So we've got plenty of conference calls over the duration of the day that I'm doing with Blake. He's doing a great job. Anybody else?
Hi, Dan. It's Sylvie.
Hey, good to see you, Sylvie. Welcome.
Hey, listen, I'm going to cut a little the rhythm because we talk about everything great we accomplished, and I think it's okay sometimes to feel like you didn't accomplish anything. And you should not feel guilty and find excuse or reason. And I'm on that case. I've been very productive, and suddenly I feel like I need to nurture myself for going in every direction. And sometimes I beat myself up saying, you were not productive. And sometimes it's better to be, I would not say non-productive, but not to do a job that you can be doing a good follow-up and allow yourself, it's the beauty of this business, to take a break and a breather to nurture yourself. And we always like to talk about everything we accomplish, and we're so proud of it. However, I think it's okay to be proud also to take the time for ourselves, because it's going to be able to bring back the oxygen and be able to go back into the rail and go back to the basic, I call that. And reevaluate where you are to go to the next step. Does that make sense?
No, that's a good point. Every now and then we've got to put down the tools and sharpen them and pick them up again and start running with them again. And you definitely need to stop and sharpen the tools at some stage. I get to the point where I've got to do that, and but mind you, every other second that I can put into this, I don't stop. But when it gets to the point where things are getting a little bit all over the place, I stop and think I'll sharpen those tools.
Yeah, and I think it's important to, it's been a crazy, trust me, between moving, going to Europe, it's been a lot of things going on, and I had a lot of in my plate. But I think it's the beauty of this business that don't find excuse, don't excuse yourself, just embrace it and know it's there. And it doesn't stop me. I talk all the time about it, but it's not maybe in the same structured and way that I usually will do.
Thanks for your input, Sylvia. I think Peg Coates wants to jump in. How you doing, Peg?
Hey, Danny. Nice to see you. You know what? This week, I'm just recovering from surgery. So my success was the work that I did prior to being down from that and seeing that grow. So I had a new associate who completed her first fast forward. She was interviewed on the national charge-up call last Friday. She's on fire, and we did some work together the last week or so. She's not on the call tonight. She usually is, but sometimes you do the work prior to when you have to take that little bit of time down, and it comes to fruition when you're down.
Absolutely. No, that's when it can actually kick in when you least expect it, for sure. Yeah, and that's like anybody we're talking to and anybody we bring on to, and just something else that I've shared with the guys in the past about speak to everybody, but don't dismiss anybody when we're actually building this business. We're at 10 minutes past the hour now, and we do have a special guest, and I don't want to leave him waiting, and got one of our great team leaders, Leland O'Connor, to introduce him. So we've got some incredible training with Leland Duyck tonight, and I know Leland's built an incredible, stable business, and he, out of anybody, has built that in the shortest period of time as far as a stable diamond business, which was 4 months. So I'm going to pass on to Leland to introduce Leland Duyck, and we're going to hear how he conducts his three-way calls and what he does to set them up and work with his team. And we've got a couple of examples too of that.
Fantastic. Thanks, Danny. Hi, everyone. I'm here in Clearwater, Florida, and I love having such a huge team call tonight. It's amazing and great to collaborate with Cindy and Bobuck. So Leland, if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself, and I think Ken Kelm as well, they're going to take it away. These guys are phenomenal at teaching and doing three-way calls. And we all always hear about in network marketing how the three-way call is one of the most valuable tools in our tool belt, and to engage with our upline, our downline, our crossline, everybody. So Leland, guide us through on how we want to role play this tonight.
I'd be happy to do that. And first of all, let me say thank you for allowing me to be on the call with you great leaders. We always learn stuff from each other. So it's I feel humbled to be on the call tonight, and looking forward to sharing with you what I've been doing. I've got a great team with me, and I took the liberty of bringing one of them on the call tonight because his name is Ken Kelm, and Ken has been in network marketing for 37 years. He could give a presentation better than anybody, but does he do it? No. He always puts an upline on the phone because that's what duplicates. So if you're trying to go out there and talk too much, share things with family and friends, trying to do it on your own, and it's not you're not being successful, you might want to back up a little bit, line up 2 or 3 people that you can use routinely with 3-way calls and use them, because it's just amazing how we've been able to do this. And, first of all, I don't want to get too elementary, but what I found even in my own group, we all have to learn how to use the phone, the iPhone. Or the smartphone, and you have to learn how to do a 3-way call. Now, I'm not going to embarrass people tonight, but I talk to people in the room every day that do not know how to add on and do a 3-way call. If that's you, don't feel embarrassed about it. I didn't. I had to learn it too. But in your iPhone, there's a button in there that says when you're talking to someone, you look down in the bottom left-hand corner, I believe it says add a call. When you add a call, then whoever you're talking with at that point is silent. They cannot hear you. At that point, you go into your contact list and you look up the person you're going to call, see their number, push their button and call them. And when they answer the phone on the other end, you go right back to that same button you pushed before that says add a call, and it'll say merge a call. You click that button and now all 3 of you are talking at the same time. For the ones that have not done it and don't know how to do it, please step through that fear mode of not knowing how. Get with your leader, find with a couple of people, do a couple of practice calls. It's so simple. Believe me, this was like teaching an old dog new tricks for me at my age, and I've had to learn all this new technology. So if I can do it, you can do it. So next, what I'd like to do is talk about the actual 3-way call itself and how it takes place. And I think what I'll do now is just turn it over to my friend, Ken Kelm. Ken is a great leader. He's grown very quickly. He knows this industry, but without a shadow of a doubt, does the best 3-way call that I've experienced on my team. And matter of fact, he's taught me things. So I want to bring Ken on right now and let him kind of start the call the way he normally would with me. And we'll just role play. I think role play a lot of times is the best way to learn how to do this. It's simple, but you got to practice it a few times. But between a 3-way call or a Zoom call, I love being on the phone, talking with them, sharing with them, and I love seeing them face to face. I use these 2 modes of engagement a lot, and that's how I've been able to grow my business. So if you want to grow your business, learn the tools. So Ken, I'm going to turn it over to you and let you start it off.
All righty, Leland, and thank you so much for inviting me on the call. And I have to be honest, I didn't know I was going to do this until 10 minutes ago. So if I'm a little rusty, please understand. But there's a couple of things I'd first like to lay a foundation for, and Leland is exactly right. When it comes to the mechanics of a call, practice that a time or 2. It's just a mechanical thing, but you can really botch it up and get embarrassed if you don't know what buttons to push and when. But other than that, there's a couple of other basics that you really need to adhere to. Number 1 is most people do 3 things wrong when they're doing anything within this industry. Number 1 is they talk too much. You can talk too much on an introduction. You can talk too much when you're explaining your business. You can talk too much in every aspect. And I learned a long time ago to utilize my upline and let them be the expert and me be quiet. So the second thing they do that it just really messes up their growth is they talk too much. And then, of course, the third thing they do is they talk too much. So if you can learn to zip it and use a system, it'll work for you just like it's worked for thousands of people over the past many years in this industry. So the first thing I want to do when I'm getting prepared to do a 3-way call is I'm not doing a 3-way call to introduce ASEA. I'm doing a 3-way call to validate ASEA and the product. So my prospect, in this example at least, has already heard about, I've at least done an introductory call. I've at least sent them something to pique their curiosity. Now, in saying that, there are those that I will call just out of excitement and say, Joe, I've ran across something you deserve to hear about. Have you got a minute? Well, yeah, hang on. I got my business partner standing by. And that's when I'll call Leland. But best case scenario for me is, number one, they know I'm calling. And in the process, I have already called Leland or whomever that's going to be my teammate doing the call. They know I'm calling, because it's tough to call a business partner, a teammate, and try to track them down when you have a prospect on the phone. That is really poor posture. You leave them hanging, they're going to think, what on earth is Ken up to? And they're liable to hang up on you. So once I got my time schedule and I'm calling my prospect, the worst thing you can do at that point when they answer the phone is start into an introduction of what's about to take place. In other words, you're going to be introducing your teammate. I've seen it. If I've seen it once, I've seen it 1,000 times. People will call their prospect with their upline, ready, willing, and able, on the phone with them, and they won't clear the time, and the prospect cuts them off and says, wait a minute, Ken, I'm in the middle of doing brain surgery. I ain't got time for this. And you've totally botched the call. So that's what a rookie would do. So let's talk about and give an example. And Kayleen, I think you have been chosen to role play with us. Are you unmuted?
Yes, I'm here. I'm ready to roll. I'm your prospect.
You're my prospect. So here's how the scenario is going to call. I'm going to call Leland up and I'm going to say, hey, Leland, have you got a minute? I need to do a three-way with my business partner from the past, Kayleen. Have you got a minute?
Yes, I do.
And Leland's going to, okay, so he's ready to roll. So I've got him on the phone now. Now I'm ringing up Kayleen. The phone's ringing. Kayleen answers.
Hello. This is Kayleen.
Hey, Kayleen, it's Ken. Hey, have I caught you with a minute?
Yeah, no, actually, this is a good time.
Good. Listen, I took the liberty to grab up my business partner, Leland, on the phone with me. Leland has an extensive medical background about the product I was telling you about. He's well-versed and has got an incredible testimony that I know you're just going to love to hear. Hang on. I grab Leland. Leland comes on when the phone is when they're all three conferenced together. I simply say, Leland, I've got Kayleen on the phone. She has been in business with me in the past. She's a go-getter. She's excited about this opportunity, especially from the health perspective. So what did I just tell Leland? I told Leland that I know this gal, but she's not necessarily interested in the income at this point. She's mostly interested in the health perspective. So I've already got Leland ready to tailor fit his testimony towards Kayleen. So all I do is I say, Kayleen, this is my good friend and business partner, Leland. Leland, this is Kayleen. She and I have been in business before, but she's mostly interested in the health aspect. She's got an issue. Leland, say hi to Kayleen. Kayleen, say hi to Leland. And at that point, folks, I shut up. I don't try to tell Leland's story. I don't give him any more information that he is a good friend and business partner. I don't, and I think that because I see it all the time. People will take and tell the teammate's story and then turn it over to him. Or they say absolutely nothing. Here's the worst one I've ever heard, and then we'll start over on the role play. But I've had people actually call me up and say, hey, Ken, I've got Joe on the other side. That was the intro. Now, how would that make you feel? So here's the scenario again. I've called Kayleen. She's ready for the three-way. I've joined him. I've introduced him. And then my next comment is simply, Leland, say hi to Kayleen.
Kayleen, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, Leland. It's nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. Well, it's always a privilege and a pleasure to talk about this company and these products that Ken has spoken to you about. But before I tell you about them, just so you know a little bit about me, my background, I grew up in the Dallas area. I'm married. I have 3 children. I went off to college, played sports, came back, continued to play, did some basketball overseas till I was 35. Then I went into my medical school, got my PA degree in orthopedics, did orthopedic surgery for 13 years. And then I started designing orthopedic braces for sports. And so for the last 40 years, I take care of, Olympic athletes. I take care of professional sports all over the country and physician offices and the Olympic teams and ATP tennis and all of the veterans hospitals here in the country. So my whole background's been around medicine. And I'm also a cattle rancher. That's my hobby. I've been doing that for 24 years. I have a ranch up in southeastern Oklahoma, so I'm back and forth between Dallas and Oklahoma. So that's a little bit about me, just so you know a little bit about me. But what I really want to talk to you about, and what Ken, I heard him say, is you've got a health issue and you're wanting to look at this. And I can just tell you that we have just a few products here. It's not thousands like we see sometimes with other companies, just a few, and we're so far ahead of our time. We have something other people do not have. At that time, I will go into letting them know a little bit about ASEA. I always have a bottle here to show them. After I tell about this and about the dosage, then I go to the Renew 28 and I tell them how great it is, all the attributes of this, from skin disorders all the way to stopping bleeding, all the way to relieving the discomfort that you have in your body. And then I go from that, and then I will hold up my skincare kit, and I'll hold up my skin and body care kit to show them that we have products for that. And then quickly, I will go into these 3 products, talk to them about this, especially if you've got health issues. You're really going to want to make sure that they understand that ASEA alone is not enough, that you've got to have good nutrition. And it's not sometimes a matter of starting all these new products. A lot of times they're already on these nutritional products, but you've got something that's better. And I tell them a lot of times it's just a matter of conversion, buying from yourself, getting a product that's patented. And I tell all the things that these products do. And once I'm through with those, I just say, I think it's the best opportunity for health and wealth. I know you didn't look at it on the business side. I didn't have a desire to look at it either for years because I was running 3 other companies, but when I saw what it did for me, I couldn't sit still. I had to share it with my friends. So I do it on the business side, and that may happen to you. So if it does, we're going to leave the door open. We're very good at helping you grow your business. We work closely as a family. So that being said, I've told you about the products. I always give 4 or 5 strong bullet points during that time so they can't go against kind of what you're saying. I will say, well, this product, Huffington Post says it's the top 5 emerging sciences in the world today. Our Olympic athletes are on these products. Most all your major universities are teaching it today, are studying it. One of the biggest convention 2 weeks ago in France, the number 1 topic was redoxycycline molecules. We have physicians all over the world flooding to this industry because they're seeing changes that they were not able to get out of their own offices. I'm making a conference that really gives them information to say, to want to look at it more. Instead of them start throwing all the negatives out, I've thrown a lot of positive, which a lot of times will just stop them in their tracks. Give them the positive stuff and then go from there. And then at that point, I'll ask if they have any questions of me. And if they have specific questions, I will answer those questions. At the end of those questions, I will say, thank you so much for your time tonight and allowing me to share this information with you. I'm always available for you to get back with Ken if y'all have additional questions. But I know you requested a couple of things here. You wanted to see more on gut health, and you wanted to see more. You got a son, I think it was in athletics, and he wanted to see something there. So I'm just going to turn it back over to Ken. And Ken, you can share with Kayleen here what you want to share in closing.
Absolutely, and thank you for that, Leland, and I'll let you go at this point. But Kayleen, while you and Leland were talking, I heard what you said about the issue and the athletics. So while you were talking, I've already sent you via text and email a couple of different short videos that I think you're going to enjoy that'll validate everything that Leland has told you. So with that, when would be a good time for me to get back with you after you've reviewed that little bit of info?
Well, so how long are the videos roughly? How much time do I need to commit to watch them?
They're just a handful of minutes each. You could
good.
watch them here in the next 20 minutes.
So I could probably watch them tonight before I go to bed.
Well, then I'll touch base with you. Would first thing in the morning work, or would it be better over your lunch hour?
Lunch hour would be perfect. That's a good time to reconnect.
Expect a call from me then. Good talk.
Sorry, Ken, didn't mean to step on you. I think it's always important to set what Ken did is set that appointment before you get off the phone so you're not trying to run them down later. I call it BAM FAM, book a meeting from a meeting. So remember BAM FAM, do that every time, and you've already got your appointment set up for the next time. You don't have to chase them down. It's really helpful in saving your time.
BAM FAM, I love it. What a role play. That was awesome, guys. I've got a quick question, Leland. There's a lot of people that try and handle their own conversations with their family and friends. What would you say to them?
I would say don't do it. You can't be an expert to your family, your best friends. You've got to get that third-party validation in. And the best thing is to say, all I know is if you're a family, you know they need it. I know you need this. What I do know is I know that it's safe and I know that it can't hurt you. But instead of trying to tell you all about it, because I'm kind of new with it, I have my partner who's really knows a lot about this, that I want him to share this with you. So sometimes it's better to just back off from your own family and friends and let someone else do the talking. And if they're not interested, leave them alone. Don't push them. Just say, I may get back with you in a few months, but I'm here. And I always close a lot of my meetings by saying this. They'll say, well, if they say no, okay, if somebody tells you no, just say, well, I appreciate the opportunity to share with you, but just remember, I went to bed fine one night and woke up the next day and I was a different person. I hope that never happens to you. But being on this product, may you never know all the illnesses that bypassed you because you weren't on it, using it as a preventative measure. So can I just leave the door open with you? And if it's tomorrow or next week, or it's a loved one from work or church or school or wherever, I want you to feel comfortable calling me back at any time because we've got something here that can help you. That's how I close my meetings. I don't get upset with them because Lord knows I took 2 years to say yes. I don't know how my sponsor stayed with me for 2 years, but he did, Terry Latham, and because he was professional and did not push me. So it's always about timing, not about your timing. It's about their timing. So keep that in mind and just be professional with your call.
Fantastic. And thank God you did come aboard. We really appreciate you as a leader, and you're just so helpful when it comes to, well, the knowledge you've got. Yeah, I mean, I've picked up a few things. I'm making notes while you guys are talking, and I'm doing three-way calls all day. So this is fantastic. I know you've got to go shortly, Leland, but as I said, this is our inaugural collaboration call for the global expansion team. I really appreciate balancing you back for bringing this up the other day. And I really want, there's a lot of leaders on this call. I mean, there's diamond leaders. Just get in contact with us if you actually want to continue this call with us. We need all the help with content that we can get. It's going to be here at this time every single week. We want to keep these calls to 30 minutes. We're going to end off this recording and then do a Q&A. Leland, you can stay on for a bit. You can go. But just want to say really appreciate you guys coming on board and going through that with the team.
Well, let me make one last comment in closing. I was able to grow as quick as I did, Dan, because of you and people, my upline, Terry and Denny and all the people, Cindy, all of them are online. I learned from every one of the diamonds. I watched their calls. I listened to them. It's important to use your tools because the business I was in, I'd never heard of redox signaling. I went through med school, but it was years ago. This is new science. So you don't have to know anything about this business to be successful with it because we have leaders like Dan and Cindy and others are on the call here tonight that have laid the groundwork for us, for me, that we can utilize those tools and duplicate. It's not what you know. It's not about a personality. It's about using the system. And the quicker people learn that it's the system, the quicker you're going to grow your business. Keep it elementary as possible because you want people to leave your meeting every time saying, I can do this. That's your goal. Thanks, Dan.
Appreciate that, Leland. as you know, rising tide lifts all ships, and that's why we're doing this and putting this together. We had nearly 150 people on this call. You guys are more than welcome to ask some questions in the chat box, so don't hesitate to do that. Leland, I know you want to stay on for another 5-10 minutes. More than welcome. There could be a few questions coming in, but I'm really excited about this call, and I really believe we can grow it into the hundreds in a very short period of time. So for the leaders out there, please reach out to anybody you can to help us collaborate with you guys on what we're doing on this call. We want to make it as effective as possible. And I've also set up a WhatsApp group, which please reach out to me too, because I'm putting all the leaders in that are doing any meetings, events, webinars, trainings, and they will be posted in that one group where all the leaders will get that content and information, then disseminate that to their teams. So hopefully that will help everybody as well. All right, from Cindy. Where are you, Cindy? Yeah, of course we've got this on next week. Same time, same bat channel, same place, 850-850-8888 is the Zoom ID. We'll work out what we're going to do on that call during the week and who's going to come on as a guest speaker. We really want to mix it up. We want you guys to get as much information and knowledge as possible, not just from one leader. We have trouble putting content together when we're doing it by ourselves, but this is going to be a great call. Leland, do you want to, don't know if you want to just have a quick chat about what you guys are trying to put together with, or you have been putting together with the Discover ASEAs. We've got one which everybody's more than welcome on the Wednesday night. And you guys are doing a few of those as well, where we can plug our guests into.
We do one on Thursday with Alan Noble. Phenomenal. I sent a lot of people there. We're doing one every night with our team that Terry started, and we have a different person every night. We don't want people having an excuse that we can't hear a presentation during the week. So we have something set up each night, so any of our team can go on and listen to those. So I think anything that we do that we can better train and teach everyone, I think it's great. And you know, we work better as a team and as a family than you can do it by yourself. So I think we're going to see much of these younger leaders coming in today will pass us up quickly because we've been able to show them how to do it. So I'm just grateful for everybody that's been a part of me growing this business so far. And you know, I just keep going up line. Jerry White and Alan Noble and Deanie Robinson. I got a great group of leaders that I can call on any time. And even Crossline, I have great leaders that I can call on. So go to meetings, go to your meetings, get to know your people. There's a big family of people here who want to help you grow. And we welcome you as part of the family, the ASEA family.
I have a quick question for you, Leland. This is Debbie.
Hi.
On your role play, you didn't ask Kayleen many questions, and I was wondering, on a real call, do you ask questions? Do you pull them out? Do you get them to tell you a little bit more about them and what they're really interested in and stuff like that? Because you did a brilliant job. You always do. Everybody loves your story and how you present. About introducing yourself and then going into the products. But do you ask questions on your phone calls? I'm saying this to help people.
I do sometimes. I was trying to do a quicker role play of what we do, right. But Ken's already told me what she's suffering with because he calls me and sets it up usually before we get on. I like to get on 3 or 4 minutes before a call and have my team refresh my memory on what we're going to talk about and what their problems are so I can better customize a presentation to them. Once I cover those tips about things that they have or what this does to help take care of those things, then a lot of times I'll say, do you have any questions? And a lot of times that's when they start asking me all these questions and I respond back to them with what's going on. But usually Ken has told them, I want you to hear from Leland. So I usually tell them when I start that I'm going to be talking for about the next 10 or 15 minutes about this. And when I'm through, we can ask questions. And that's usually the way I do it. Sometimes they don't know you very well and they don't want to just throw everything on you and throw up everything that's going on. Sometimes they do. But once you've told their story and they see that you care about talking to them, then that opens the door. It softens them to open the door and want to share with you more what's going on in their life. And but that's a great question, Debbie. You have to kind of get a feel for it. You don't want to just go right at their problem like you've been talking about it. I want to talk more in general and cover that in my talk, and then usually they open the door to ask more questions and talk at a bigger depth level.
Perfect. Thank you for going into greater detail. I think that's very helpful for many people on this call.
Great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Leland, if you've got one more quick second, there was a question specifically for you from Andrea. She just says, what video do you think is the most helpful if someone is sincerely interested in the medical scientific benefits of ASEA? What do you recommend?
First of all, I usually send everybody to amazingmolecules.com. And I say, now I'm going to send you this site. It's going to talk about the products. It's going to talk about the science. You're going to see the video on how this company got started called the Genesis. You're also going to see a compensation program. If you're not interested in the business side, just set that aside and then scroll on down, and there's our double-blind placebo crossover studies. There's our white papers. Everything that you really need to look at to make a wise decision is on that website. And if you want more information from that, then let's go ahead. I'm going to have you look at those, and can we get together tomorrow night or the next night? What's good for you? I always show an urgency. And then I try to, your follow-up is 90% of this. And then you get back with them. And at that time, they're usually going to ask more questions. What do you do for the medical science and that sort of stuff? You know, I use a couple of different ones. A lot of times, I even have other leaders get on that have talked to them about their issues. I used my friend Jerry White quite a bit with his medical background. A lot of times it's not even a video. It's getting another one-on-one call with somebody with credibility. And that way they're not just going to look at something. I'm actually having a conversation back and forth with them and giving them the answers that they want. If you don't have that, I know there's so many good ones on the website. You know, I love Dr. Ward. I love Dick and Nancy. You know, they have great stuff. Any of the physicians, Dr. Silverman, all of them have good stuff that they can look at and address. So it's not always the same. That's why I use Jeannie. I try to look at all those videos in there of the different people, and I know what's on those videos. And then when I have somebody that's very similar to that, then I can refer them because I know they're going to relate to each other. So a lot of times I'll change it up. I hope that helps you. It's not always the same.
Yeah, no, it's going to be different in every situation. Just a question from Giselle. Any marketing tactics for those desiring an international global team for building overseas?
You cut out and I didn't hear you.
Yeah, any marketing tactics for anybody who desires to build an international business that want to build in other countries?
That's not been my strength yet. I'm starting to do more on Facebook and reach out, social media where you can reach out to other people. I've been so busy, I haven't had time to really go there. I do have some people there through my associates that know people there, but not, from here going there and trying to find people. I'm learning some social media skills and trying to get at that. But the key thing for me is, I don't want to try to justify being on Facebook all day or trying to find people and then you're not working. That's kind of an excuse. It's a numbers game. You got to talk to people, and people would, if they can get off the Facebook some and start making 3-way calls every day, limit to, say I'm going to make 2 today or I'm going to make 1 today. It's the little bitty things you do every day. It's not the one big event that's going to grow your business. So the thing is to be disciplined to do the little things every day. And that's what I've always been told. But maybe someone would speak more on the international part because I'm not big at that, even though I have people there. That's not where I focus my time. I've got plenty of people right around me here in the U.S. that need this product and are looking for it. So we just got to share it. We have to be the messenger.
Yeah, they're going to lead to, you're going to be talking to somebody locally in your team. They're going to lead to somebody who's from Singapore or from Hong Kong, and that will lead into other countries. I mean, I go back 4.5 years ago and I didn't know anybody, or only knew a handful of people outside of Australia. I didn't use them to build my international business. I've got businesses in over 30 countries because they came through the team, and then I went there and developed those leaders, or leaders emerged, and then we built those countries. Mm-hmm. So that'll happen over time. If you really want to make the effort with establishing relationships, just go to, there's communities in every city that, people from Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and just meet those people. Go straight to those entrepreneurs, people in business, and try and build a relationship like that. Couple more, Leland. You got time? Yeah. Well, this is for Ken. What info does Ken say to a person to get them on a three-way call? We had an example of that, but if Ken can give us any more examples of when he talks to people. I mean, every case is different, whether you know somebody really well or you don't. But Ken, I don't know if you want to come back in with a little bit more input with what you say to people to get them on a three-way call with Leland. Or Leland, if you've got some examples.
Is Ken still on? I'm not hosting, so I didn't see if he's still on. He might have had he's not on.
He's jumped off.
Well, it's different with me. If it's somebody that I already know, I personally know them, a lot of times I will talk with them once or twice on the phone and not even bring up ASEA. I'll just check how their family's doing, how, what's going on with their work. Somewhere in that conversation, usually something comes up. When you talk about, well, how's your mom and dad, or how's your sister or brother? If you know them, those conversations come up. And a lot of times we'll just talk and I get off the phone. But then I call them back the next day and I'll say, we were talking last night on the phone and you brought up something with one of your family members, and I just can't really sit here and not share this with you knowing what I know. You may or may not be interested, but we don't know till I share it with you. But I know for me, it's been life-changing, and I just couldn't sit here and not share it with you. So that's one way. Don't throw up on people the first time you call them sometimes, or people you knew in the past from school. Call and just get a conversation going. Get to know them again a little bit. Set them up for a call 1 or 2 days down the road, and you've got that process going. You're talking to everybody every day, but it's not always about the quick call and slamming them with something, and that's usually what turns people off. They've got to know how much you care. They don't know how much you care till you show them by calling them back and letting them know you've got something you want them to look at. And I tell them, there's a business side of this. If you're not interested, no problem. I wasn't at first, but when I saw what it did, I couldn't sit still. And now it's been the best thing I've ever done in my career. It's the most gratifying thing I've done, even over doing surgery on big athletes and putting them back on the field. And you see them 30 days later. This is actually changing people's lives on a cellular level and having a better quality of life. So that's why it's so much fun for me. If it's somebody I don't know very well, maybe I've run into them and just talk with them, and I see, well, it just happened to me. So I'll give you an example. I was on a plane flying to Chicago, and I sat down next to this gentleman, and he had a cane in his hand. So I just struck up a conversation. Good-looking cane. What do you got there? Oh, I got to have this. I had an injury really just crushed my foot. And I thought, oh my, I had a crushing foot injury too in high school. So it just allowed us to talk about it. And then I just shared with him that I really want to give him some information on this. I didn't push him a lot on the plane. But I said, when you get off the plane, do you have a second? He goes, sure. I said, I just want to show you something. And I showed him the Renew 28 and showed him how I could help him and gave him a little tube to take with him. And it was just amazing. Don't start slow. Don't be too pushy. But again, I went back to those key points. I just want you to know that this is one of the greatest discoveries in our lifetime. All our top universities are teaching it today. I believe it's going to be a household name product in every home, just like Kleenex. Everybody's going to know about this product. It's great. Our Olympic athletes, wrong with it and it hurts you, they couldn't take it. It doesn't even show up in their body because it's native, not natural, native. Native is better. That means you had it when you were born, but as you age, you lose that ability to reproduce these redox signaling molecules in your body. If you're interested in really getting healthy and maximize your injury and getting back to where you were, you're going to want to take a serious look at this thing. And so, I always go back to the positive bullet points, and I give them those bullet points because if they're strong enough, you're going to generate a lot of interest. You're going to hit something, whether it's for your skin, whether it's for something internally, maybe it's discomfort in your body. This is the best discovery for medicine, anti-aging, and athletics. If you have any of those areas you want to see a better result, or somebody that would be interested in something like that, they're going to want to see this. This is really big. You need to know, even if it's just for yourself and you don't want to share with anybody, you deserve to know that this product's on the market. And I don't say get people signed up. They think, what am I signing up for? I'll just say what I'd like to do if you have an interest. I would like to call in. I want to get your account set up directly with the company where you can purchase the product at the same price that I do. I don't want to make something by selling to you like that. And they love that, like you're not trying to make a dime on them. And then they say, well, aren't you making some money? Yes, I am, but the company repays me for my referral. So, but you and I pay the same price. And it's amazing how so many of them turn around right away when you make that comment, like you're not trying to sell them retail. So it's about talking enough to give them enough information to make a good choice on, is this something I want to do either for my health or even take it further as a part-time or full-time, making an income.
Perfect. I totally agree with you, Leland, that this is the most satisfying thing that I've ever done in my lifetime as well. I love it when I approach people that have got a walking stick or a wheelie walker. My line is, hey, how you doing? I collect those. And, you know, as long as you keep your posture and you've got your confidence without, as you said, vomiting over people, there's nothing negative about what we have. We've got a company and a technology, we tick every single box. So you can be an expert for the people that you don't know, and there's an order in how to do that. You may need a three-way call leading up to, you know, obviously closing them. But anybody that you do know, your family and friends, I mean, I'm physically losing a lot of people in my family, unfortunately, because a few years ago I said too much. My family hasn't listened to me since. We're talking about not my immediate family, but uncles, aunties, cousins, and all that. So we've got people dropping like flies, unfortunately, that still don't listen to us. But just make sure you're just piquing interest. Don't say too much. Don't do anything that's going to lead people to anything negative. What you got to remember is that you are responsible if you are saying too much and people are being led to things that are negative. So just watch the order you do it in. But you've got to get out of your comfort zone as well. I mean, so you've got to actually do it. You're better saying something than saying nothing. And I'm the sort of person that approaches every single person I bump into every single day of the week, no matter who they are, to share this.
Dan, two other things. I think, I would have either a business card with you where you can at least give them information where they can get back in touch with you. Or what I prefer is I go directly to my phone and I go to ABC Mobile and I use my contact list and I'll pull it up and hand them my phone and say, if you will, just put your name and number and email right here and I will send you that information that I was talking about. Then I've got them captured here and I can follow up with them. If I just give them my card, you may not ever hear from them because you don't know how to get in touch with them. I prefer to use the ABC mobile app, but and we've got some new things coming, new tools that we can use at convention. I know they're going to share some new things. Well, I'm anxious to see what it's all going to be about, but I just know that it's all about the tools.
Well, I mean, that's a good point. There's some huge announcements coming up. So hopefully everybody on this call is getting to convention. I'll do exactly the same as you. I'll get them in my contacts, Leland. And there hasn't been one person that said, no, I don't want to put my contacts in your phone. Every single person over the last 4.5 years has put their details on my phone and got them the information. And I'm the expert in that case because I don't know them. And sometimes I've had to get them to a three-way, but that works extremely well. And if you've got a business card, give your business card after you get their details, and then they've got your details too. I think we've had an exceptional call. What do you think, guys? Is there anybody, there's a lot of great leaders on here. Really appreciate Leland being on here and sharing your wisdom, words of wisdom and advice, Leland. We've got people on here that may want to close out with a comment or so. Well, we're just getting comments of love. Love you, Leland.
So let's wrap up.
I'll tell you I love you, Leland, but I would love to just ask one more question about your phone call, Leland.
Sure.
When Ken puts you on the phone with somebody or anybody in your team, and this is again for training, do you go ahead if Kayleen is ready to go ahead and make a decision? Do you go ahead and do the close for them at that point?
I usually, here's one thing I will do. If they make a comment like I'm ready to get started, I usually will help my leader like Ken by saying this. Well, if you're ready to get started, it's really important which enrollment pack that you pick. And we have 12 different ones. And what I'd like for you to do is Ken will send that over to you now if he hasn't already. And I want you to look at those. But just keep this in mind. To me, it doesn't matter where you come in. But what I don't want you to come back later and say, why didn't you give me these tips? Why there's an advantage of buying a bigger package? Because if you come in at the small level, you get 5% off on future orders for 90 days, and then it goes to 10 for 90 days, then 15, and then 20. If you come in at the top level now, and if you're going to be taking it for you and your family, y'all are probably going to go through these products. Just keep in mind, this is the only time the company will discount you. So if you're going to order product for the next 90 days, and I talk about 15% of people seeing results in a week, 50% in a month, and 90% in 90 days. So I encourage you to be on for 90 days. Give it a true test. You spend a lifetime getting your body to where it is. Are you not willing to give it 90 days? And then you might as well go ahead and buy that 90 days because it's going to save you money. But not only that, if you buy the Entrepreneur Pack, you're going to get 150 rewards points. You're going to get about $150 in free product. That's about $300 off the top. And then you'll get 15% off on all orders for the first 90 days, and after that, it goes to 20% for life. That just sets yourself up for success. And I can tell you, I go for a lot of the big packages. I always start at the top and come down. I don't start at the bottom and go up. And sometimes my leaders say, well, I've never had that much money. I couldn't do that. Don't judge what you can do when you're talking to someone else. Yeah. Always talk about the big package, because I'll tell you what, most of them will ask me, which one did you do? And then you can tell them. And a lot of them say, okay, I'll just follow you what you did. So it's important to really explain the different enrollment packs and to take advantage of your first enrollment. And then after that, you order whatever you need every month. Just make sure you stay on auto ship so you continue to collect all those free points that you just earned. You don't want to lose them by going off auto ship. But Ken is an expert with this. He's going to walk you through that. And but if y'all need me for anything in closing, let me know.
Thank you again. Perfect training. You guys did a fantastic job. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Leland, Cindy, all Kayleen, everybody. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Over to you, Cindy Buck, your brainchild to collaborate and put this together. Really appreciate it and so excited. So close out the first call, my dear.
Absolutely. So this is designed as a smorgasbord. And so you come on, you take what you benefit from, and you leave the rest. So every week it'll be a different leader leading the call. There'll be always wins for the week. So my challenge to you is to go out and do something that you can brag about next Monday. Go do something you're really proud of so you can brag about it. Tell us all about it for the first 10 minutes of the call, and then we'll have another incredible training for you next Monday on this call. Bring your teams. This is for everybody. And when the lines are full, the lines are full. So get on a couple minutes early. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.